Hey guys, let's get working on this Fletcher here. We're on the home stretch. So I started going through the instructions again, and I think what we're going to do is all of the little parts and pieces that we've kind of skipped up until now, which you know, to keep them out of the way and things like that. So we've got like the propeller shafts, propellers. Taking a look at the other side here, we've got little things like the anchors over here, all these little odds and ends that we kind of took off. So I'm going to go ahead and get to nipping them all off. We'll get them all set up in a little pile over here, and then we'll get that stuff on, and then eventually, once we get that done, we'll get over to these railings, and that'll be the end of the show. So let me go ahead and start nipping things off. We'll see how far we can get today. Okay, so I got a lot of the small little pieces cut out here, mainly for the propeller shafts and propellers and anchors and a couple of the little light spotlights that we had. And I went through all the instructions and everything. I think we just get all this stuff down, and then the final part after that will be, well, not final, but at least plastic wise, will be the depth charges and stuff. So I'm gonna start with the spotlights here. There's two of them that go on the I guess on the mid deck, foredeck, I can't remember. I'm just taking a look to see if there's anything I gotta kind of sand down. These came off pretty clean, actually. They come in two pieces, so there's sort of like the lens piece, and that one just needs a little bit of sanding here. So there's one. Let me see if there's. I think there's two sides. Let me see. Nope, just one side. It's just connected to one sprue right there, or I shouldn't say sprue, on one little connection point. Alright, let me just kind of glue those two up. Let me just take a look at that really quick. Yeah, that looks good. I'm trying to remember where the actual connection point was. I think it was actually at the very bottom, which is very cool. They connect it to the very bottom that, you know, gets placed at the sort of the base of the spotlight, so you don't even have to. Where'd it go? Die. Oh, there it is. Goodness sakes. All right, we got our lifeboats are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and the propellers. I did nip them off with a little bit of space. You know, I didn't go right up to the propeller there, so because it was kind of funky trying to get on the sprue, but this way I can get in and be a little bit more delicate here so I don't damage the propeller, taking that little nub off. Looks like there's two of them. And then these guys will get painted up. I have a special paint someplace. We'll get to that when we get to that. Trying to kind of hold it so you can actually see what I'm doing here. All right, a little bit of sanding on that. Same thing on the anchors. They had pretty big nubs on either side, two of them, that need to get chopped off. All right, I'll keep doing that, and then once we're ready to start gluing, I'll come back. All right, just one more note here. So I'm just filing everything down, getting all the seam lines off. This is this little part that holds both of the shafts, and man, it's got a lot of seam lines over here, so you got to be kind of delicate getting them off. But at least I wanted to show you Sometimes there's a little bit of sanding on this thing. And then the actual tubes here that the shafts kind of go into, or whichever way they go. Yeah, a lot of little seams right there on the interior right here. You probably won't see that very well when you're, looking at the ship, but what is it? It's like Nigel from Nigel's modeling bench there. He says like, but I'll know it's there, so I want to take care of it. So thing with the actual housings here. I've already gone through there. It's a lot of little sanding that's got to get done here. I guess not a lot, but trying to get the seam lines off of both of these. And you might think, hey, kind of going overboard here, but just a little bit of effort, a little file, and once you get it painted up, and you don't see that little thing, like I said, you'll know it's there. Somebody else may look at it and not see it, but every time you walk by it and it's sitting on your cabinet and you take a look, you're gonna look at that little thing, going, man, I wish I had just spent like 5 minutes just sanding that and taking care of that. So it's worth investing just a little bit of time right there, just to clean things up really nice. Even though they're very, very small parts and they might not even be seen, it'll just make you feel better as a modeler. Kind of lets you do a little practice too. Some of these parts where it's like you don't really see it, like this, the inside of this, you're not going to see that. That's going to be sitting underneath the ship, and you're never going to look at that. But you can take that opportunity to do a little, do a little filing, use a little tools, sort of test run. It's almost like practice on this part right here. So if you kind of screw it up, or it's not going to do anything to the model, but it'll gives you a little bit of practice, just so you can know how much to push, what you can get away with. All right. Anyway, I'm going to finish. This is the last piece I gotta do a little bit of filing and sanding on, and then we'll be ready to start installing all these little parts. Okay, one more thing. I got everything sanded down. The rudder, unfortunately, has got a little ejector mark right here, a little circle right there, where I'm going to go ahead and fill that with just a little dab of putty. So I use Tamiya putty right here. I just need to put a little bit. It's not going to take much, so I think I'm going to use just a toothpick. Get a little tiny bit in there. All right. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to let that dry, but that's it right there. So we'll let that dry off to the side over here, and we'll hopefully start on these other parts. Okay, just going to put together the two parts of the spotlights here. It's a little bit of extra thin, and it doesn't matter which way this goes in. Just trying to use a little nub right there. I said it doesn't matter which way it goes in, and of course, then I realized there's a little nub right there at the very top that should line up with the very top of the spotlight. Let me see if it's on here. Yes, it is. Yep. At first I thought it was just a piece of sprue that was left over, but no, there's a little kind of, I don't know, the top of the spotlight right there. And so even though these things go in any which way you want to line those two up, which of course I didn't do right there. Come on. There we go. Alright, I think I got that down. Whew. Alright, let's get the ship out and start putting some of this stuff on. Alright guys, so obviously now that I've got my mast on and everything over here, it's kind of hard to work on the bottom of it. So what I did was, it's easy enough to kind of hold it up off the ground so that I'm not screwing up my mast hitting it on there. And I just kind of dry fitted the two shafts into place, and whatever the little bracket thing right here is, and then we can get the props on afterwards. But we'll get a little glue in there. Like I said, I just sort of, they're in there. They almost snap into place too once you get everything put in. We'll come back and paint all this up, but go ahead and get it all glued up. I'm being delicate here because I don't want to make a big mess on the paint job we've already done right there, but we'll come back and hand paint these. Make sure they're nice and level, and make sure I don't break my mast right there. So yeah, I'm just kind of holding them up to make sure that they're all level-ish. Take a look at it from every different angle here. Looking good. So, well, that's part one. We got that done. The other part I had a piece someplace. I gotta find it. It took off on me here. There's a little bracket that went on one of the sides here. I'll find it. It's someplace, but I know I've got to put that one on. I thought I put it here someplace. We can try fitting the lifeboats here. Let me see where they go. And you can see on our little instruction sheets, we're getting along here. All right, so there's the lifeboat right there. One on either side, and it does have little brackets that it sits on right there. I can see them. So let me put that aside. Let's take a little closer look here, see where they go. I guess it doesn't really matter where. Yeah, there's almost like a little brackets that hold the ship into it right there, two of them. So it's just a matter of kind of sliding them in there and trying to figure out which end is which. I'm guessing forward is going to be forward. Get the dog hair off the ship. And this might have been easier if we just waited to put the put the brackets on and everything like that, but I'm just going to go ahead and slide it in there. I think we can make it without too much trouble. So I don't know if you're going to see it. Something like that. Boy, it's a little fiddly thing, huh? As usual. Let's see here. I'm trying to be careful not to hit anything else. And we gotta kind of make it underneath the two cranes that hold it. We're getting there, almost. I could bring it back a little bit. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do this off camera and then we'll take a look at it. All right, I got it in there like first try. Go figure. That's the way it works. When you're on camera, it doesn't work. When you're off camera, it works perfectly. Now, the good thing is that this little bracket here, crane I'm going to call it, it has a little extension that butts up right up against the side of the ship. So kind of, you know exactly how far it's got to go one way or the other. I'm just going to touch it with a little bit of glue on each of the brackets right here. I'm going to have to kind of get my face in here. All right, I think we got it. All right, let me get the other one on the other side for you. All right, guys, I did manage to get both light bulb boats in, and looking very nice. Focus, my man. Come on. We're afraid to break something off. But I did actually. I broke off the ladder over here that you can see right there. So I had to glue that back on. It was a little fiddly getting those two boats in there. I think next time around I probably would have done it, before putting these brackets on. That would have made it a lot easier. Now there is photo etched stairs down below it, so that made it even a little bit more fiddly, but I got them both on there. I didn't break too much stuff other than snapping the ladder off of the forward smokestack there. Time to get the anchors in here. By the way, I did find this other little bracket. I'm not quite sure where it goes. I think it's for loading torpedoes. It's the only thing I can think of. I got to take a look at the instructions to see where that goes, but let's go ahead and get our anchors on. I went and did a little bit of research in the meantime to try to figure out which way they go on. And let me see if I can do this where you can actually see it. So, try to pick one up and drop it into place. It kind of goes on like so. Let me see, something like that. I'm gonna go double check my my reference photos. Okay, yeah, just double checked. So basically they're pointing up towards the bridge. So let me try to find the proper way to stick this on here. Something like, man, these things, all right, like so. So something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to lay it down here and then just kind of place it. Get a little glue in there. And it doesn't matter which one you stick on there, they're both the same. And they get a little bit more fiddly the more you mess with them here. Alright, you know what? I think I'm going to forget the tweezers. I'm just going to fat finger it in there. There we go. Sometimes you try to overthink things. Alright, there we go. Like so. Facing the bridge. I don't know if that's the only way they can go in. It doesn't. It seems like they can just spin around there, go all different ways. So, it's not like you can't mess this up. All right, let me try to get that one in there. Yeah, it's much easier doing that than screwing around with the tweezers. I think that looks good. Turn this one just a little bit. All right. Oof. All right, and then we've got our little spotlights here. I'm going to go ahead and probably do the same thing. Let me see if there's any glue in there. It looks shiny. The spotlights are pretty straightforward. I guess one side's supposed to be a cover. The other one is not. I gotta double check. Always double check to see what where you're supposed to be placing things. So I just want to make sure I'm putting them in the right spots. Yep, on the funnel around there, 2 big spotlights. Yep. Move that a little bit closer. Now this I'm going to use the tweezers because it's just a little bit easier to do. Making sure it's standing up straight. Alright, spin this around, get the other side. Lost my tweezers. Alright, there we go. Looking at the camera to see if you can actually see it. But yep, there we go. Alright, so we've got 2 spotlights on. Anchors on. We got our prop shafts on. And we still got to wait on the rudder. I gotta take a quick look and see where this little bracket goes on too. Alright, took a quick look and did a battery change on the camera here, and I found where the bracket goes, or the little crane here. So it goes on the right side, right back here next to the aft funnel. And there's a little spot right there. It sits right in there. It's a little crane that's used I'm assuming for the torpedoes. So let's go ahead and get that one on. Luckily, this is pretty straightforward right here, and I'm not getting into a whole bunch of other stuff. And you can pretty much position it wherever you want. As long as it's nice and level right there. There we go. I'm good with that. All right, so we've just got the props to go. I'm gonna wait on that, I think. The props and the rudder right here. Let me see, can I get those on? Will they stay on? Fairly, yeah, I think they will. Let's go ahead and get them on. I was thinking maybe painting them first, but yeah. We'll paint them after the fact. I might have to get my fat fingers in here just to kind of hold them there for a second. This is where the quick setting definitely helps out. Alright, let's get the other one here. Hopefully not break anything elsewhere on the ship. I guess I really want to look at it from this angle here to make sure that it's, you know, kind of looking straight as opposed to looking at it upside down right there. It looks pretty good to me. Now this one's kind of shoved in a little bit right here, but I'd rather have it flush on the outside than right on the inside there, because again, you're not really going to see it right there. Alright, yeah, I'm good with that. Alright, so all we got is the rudder, but I've got to do the sanding on that, so let me give you a little view of the ship here. I'm going to go ahead and put it down. We'll take the camera down and well, I'll just leave it like that. Let's put it that way. Looking pretty good. I guess we'll call this part, what is it, 19? I was hoping to finish by 20. We'll see. I'm just going to go until I go, as long as it takes. But yeah, she's looking pretty good. Now, of course, I'm going to come back and touch all that stuff up. We still got to paint the propeller shafts, the propellers, the little crane right here, and the anchors and all that. I'll be touching that up. That'll probably be in the next episode, and we'll get the rudder on, and then there's a little bit more photo etch to do, just a couple little things, and then we've got to go do our depth charges and stuff like that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that little installment here on the Fletcher build, and it's coming along. It's coming along nicely. Till next time guys, take care.